It's Hot 937, Hartford's #1 for hip-hop and R&B. I'm Jenny Boom Boom in the afternoon with Asher Roth today. Hello.
Yeah, hello, hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. We are fresh into Connecticut, Hartford, enjoying our time here. We're performing tonight at Toe's Place with the one and only Common.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some fun.
Common is unbelievable on
He's
stage.
great. He's incredible.
Have you worked with him before?
Have I worked
on
with
stage?
him? No, I've definitely seen performances.
Okay.
And he is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's one of the few that really put on an incredible hip hop show.
Yeah, he bangs on anything that's on the stage as a drum. It's very strange.
You gotta love it.
So Asleep in the Bread Aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from?
There's kind of two things going on. The reason why I chose it is because it obviously means something to me, but I can't lie. The origin comes from a drunk story from my buddy Alec Egan. Check out AlecEgan.com. He's a buddy of mine, but him and I were just talking about drunk stories, and he was telling me about his buddy who had woken up at 10 o'clock the next day after a long night of drinking, super hungover, decides he needs to go to the grocery store and grab some Gatorade and a sandwich and what have you, and he's running out the door, grabs some Tylenol because he's all hungover, and it ends up being Tylenol PM, and he took like 4 of them. So they're running through the grocery store, and about 45 minutes later they can't find him. So they're like, where is he? So they're going through the aisles, and there he is, asleep in the bread aisle. So
wow.
When he said that, it was one of those things that kind of just like clicked, and I was like, oh wow. And I hadn't named my album at the time, and I was always telling myself, the album's going to name itself naturally and everything like that. And sure enough, it did, because to me, there's so much going on in this world as far as, being in a capitalistic country and so on and so forth. Like, the societal demands upon like children and even us as as a young man, I feel in the hip hop industry, you have to be presented a certain way, and sometimes it's not even about your music. Sometimes about what you're wearing and how your hair is and all this and that. And money makes people do some really crazy things that they normally wouldn't do. And I kind of combat that by just being who I am. You know what I mean? Just like hair all over the place, like scuffed up shoes, scuffed up Vans and everything like that. And for me, I'm just kind of asleep in the bread aisle. I'm just chilling while all these people are just kind of changing to be cool. And I'm just like, yo, you can be cool and not have to wear Nike and not have to drink Gatorade and do all this stuff. You can be cool and not have to have all those label brands. That's why Ross and Marshalls and TJ Maxx are like the best places on earth, no?
Yeah, little Target for me.
Yeah, Target.
So if Gatorade comes a knocking, though, you're going to be in that commercial,
I mean,
though.
we'll see. I already messed with him a little bit. Of course, I mean, everyone wants financial freedom, but at the same sense of, like, is that what makes you, like, a successful person? You know what I mean? To me, in the music industry, a lot of people base their motives, they're based off of, yo, I got so much money, you know what I mean? You can't see me. To me, longevity and being respected in hip-hop is actually what success is. And a lot of people don't see it like that. A lot of people are just like, how many zeros do you have on your bank account?
All right, but okay. So first of all, let me ask you a question. When did you first get into hip hop? As a child. How old are you now?
I'm 23 now.
Okay.
And I was probably about 13.
When you discovered hip hop.
When I discovered it and kind of hit home. Was it always around? Yeah, it was kind of flirting in there, but it wasn't. I wasn't listening to it. I was listening to stuff like Dave Matthews Band and Oasis, and even after that, I was listening to Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that. Before I really fell in love with hip hop, and I got into the backseat of a white Subaru station wagon on my way to baseball practice, and when I heard the Hard Knock Life Jay-Z, and like they had flipped the Broadway sample, and I was like, man, this is kind of limitless, you know what I mean? That means that if you can flip a Broadway sample and turn it into a street anthem, like, what can't you do? So, I started listening at 13 based off of that. Was I writing and, trying to be a rapper then? No, absolutely not. It wasn't until about 16, 17 when I linked up with friends with a common interest of listening to hip-hop. We used to stay after school and just kind of rock and just be stupid. And then I linked up with my boy Brian Sellers, and we went to the basement and started creating a CD, and it was all about writing songs. We were talking about our girlfriends, we were talking about people we didn't like in school, and just kind of venting, and we put out a CD called Easier Said Than Done, put it around high school, and people really responded to that, and that kind of gave me the confidence of, you could do this, man. Like, people are receptive to what you're saying. I left the school at college in my freshman year. I continued to sell mixtapes over other people's beats for $5 just to pay for my drunk and all the parties and everything. And it was just a natural progression into really enjoying writing and being part of the culture. So
Right.
It was a lot of fun for me. It still very much is. But I tell people all the time, if they knew what it takes, the grind that it actually takes to be a successful, hip hop artist or any artist for that matter, it's not easy.
No, it's a lot of work.
There's a lot.
Even more now than I think ever.
Ever.
So okay, so let me ask you a question. Considering that you are Caucasian, you are pale-faced, as am I.
Very pale-faced.
How divided do you think hip hop is? Because
I think
racially.
actually now less than ever. I think it used to be, it still is definitely black music. You know what I mean? It's considered black music. So it's always tender when a white kid comes in. The kind of the immediate impression you get is, what the hell is this white kid from the burbs going to tell me?
And then now they compare you, to
of course,
right?
of course.
Eminem.
And that's because there's only been a handful of white MCs that have been influential on the mainstream. You know what I mean? And that's what you do when a new artist comes out. That's what humans do. They go, it's like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even when my man Mr. Hudson, who signed to Kanye, an incredible artist. They like, he's like David Bowie or anything like that, and really, he's just Mr. Hudson. You know what I mean? Like, and it takes time, but that is what your battle is. As a new artist, you have to differentiate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to put out an album that people are going to hear and be like, wow, that's Asher Roth. And I kind of feel bad for the people who are going to come, the white rappers that come after me, because yes, absolutely, my project will be opening doors for other rappers in the future. Just like
no one will be as good as you, right?
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's just like, when after me, a lot of people are going to be compared to Asher Roth, and then they're going to have to differentiate themselves from a middle-class kid speaking about life. You know what I mean? And really all I do when I write music is just make sense of the world around me. I'm not making anything up. I'm not trying to put on some facade. I'm not trying
so you haven't been shot 9 times,
no,
or you're not going to pull out again
exactly,
anytime.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet, anyway.
At least we know that. That's album 2.
I try my best to kind of keep that energy away, but no, it's exactly that. Like, I'm just kind of, it's like keeping a journal. You know what I mean? And people, I kind of raise my hand and ask a few questions and say this and that, and it turns out a lot of people behind me are like, yeah, I feel the same way. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to continue to do what I do, and I think people really respect the fact that it's genuine and it's sincere.
Yeah, and you have to stay focused and
Exactly.
not listen to the haters.
Exactly.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Right now, or just overall?
Overall.
It's kind of tough. I mean, you were talking about Common, Quali, Mos Def, Q-Tip. We were talking about Pharoah Monch and Black Thought outside. Lyricists are very much in favor in my book. You know what I mean? I like people that sit down and I feel like I learned something from them. You know what I mean? I feel like I can take away something from that. But I always appreciate artists that have a good time. But I'm a big Tribe Called Quest fan. I find myself listening to them more.
And you're kind of young for actually liking them.
Yeah,
so
well, that's what I mean. I kind
of
of did the whole Benjamin Button thing where I went backwards, and because I started.
And you discovered hip hop.
Yeah, I started with hip hop at 13.
From Jay-Z.
But it was better, and it's even like when I saw The Matrix for the first time. If I would have saw The Matrix in '99 when it first came out, I would have been lost. I wouldn't have been able to wrap my head around it. But
We're still lost.
I ended up seeing The Matrix probably 2 months ago for the first time, and I got it. You know what I mean? And that was the thing. I don't think I would have appreciated hip hop in its truest form if I would have started listening to it at 10, 11, 12 years old, because I wasn't in the scene. I'm from Morrisville, Pennsylvania. It's like, what goes down in Morrisville, Pennsylvania? Absolutely nothing. So there's nothing, like the craziest thing that happens is like a stolen bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's wild. So for me, I'm always outside looking in. So when I got to the point where I was hanging out with kids, that we were really influenced in hip hop and starting to talk about it, I learned how to really appreciate the fact that it was very uplifting and empowering music. You know what I mean? And it was, I guess it was kind of just the fact that it was edgy. My parents didn't really want me listening to it and stuff like that. I started to gravitate towards it. But I really want to bring it back to the fact when it's speaking about something and being empowering and having fun and partying. You know what I mean? Because that's what it was.
Well, it seems like, I love College is a nice, fun song.
Right.
It's silly.
Yeah, and at the same time, that's really just...
You throw the chick off you in the video. I seen she's passed out.
It's pinpointing my demographic.
Damn, I wish I went to college. It was like it was so much fun.
It was, and that song's very much autobiographical. Like, there's nothing really made up about that. But I spent 60 credits in school before I left and chased the opportunity to chase my dream. And college was very much for me just flexing social skills and enjoying myself. It was like my freshman year.
You got a lot of sex. You smoked a lot of weed.
I mean, nothing out of control.
Okay,
I'm still diseaseless.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's good. Thank God.
No kids.